Some people will say, don't leave your 9 to 5 if you don't have another 9 to 5 lined up. They'll say things like, don't close one door without opening another. While they're not wrong, it is very limiting and it is very closed-minded. Because number one, a job is a job. And when you apply for a job and you become an employee, you are another number to them. Just like everyone else that applied for that same job and or same position, you are just a number to them. And as much as the government does a good job at presenting certain things to us to make us think we know the actual story or think we know what's actually going on, there's really not a shortage on jobs out here. Now, if you have some certifications or other credentials and that's the path you want to go, then those areas may be a little bit limiting. And I can't really speak to those. I'm talking about the traditional fast food, retail, telephone marketing type of job, right? There's not really a shortage out here for those. I consider myself to be an entrepreneur. I always felt like I've had the entrepreneurial bug. I knew I wasn't going to be working for long. I knew a 9 to 5 was not going to be my career. This is the vehicle I'm using to get to my next stepping stone. That's me though. When you hear things like don't close one door without opening another, in terms of the 9 to 5 anyway, you shouldn't take that and have that be the main and final thing that you're listening to. You have to listen, you got to listen with your ears, because those are limiting beliefs, period. I'm getting ready to talk to y'all about how I left Sephora and my whole exit plan and strategy that I came up with back in 2023. No, I do not currently work at Sephora now. This is not shade nor hate nor any slight to Sephora. I love Sephora still to this day. It's still a problem. Sephora is still one of my favorite stores. I have a gift card right now that I need to use. Don't be shy. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. So, picture it, Sicily. Just kidding. All right, so the year is 2023. It is around January and I just get into a car accident. So I get into a car accident. My car is going to be out of commission for about a week and a half ish. And I text my boss, my supervisor, and I let him know like, hey, I just got into a car accident. I'm not going to be able to make it there often. Luckily, around this time, I didn't have that many shifts on schedule. So it was okay. During that week, I got a lot of relaxation for one. I enjoyed just being in the house because prior to the car accident, I was at Sephora almost full time and I signed up. I applied to originally be a part-time position. So I was at Sephora nonstop because I was trying to get to the mutt. Okay, I was trying to get to the cheese, the chicken, and the cheddar. I definitely feel like the car accident helped sit me down. Like, hey, you are running yourself into the ground again. Just like every time you get a 9 to 5, you run yourself into the ground. But that's just because, like, I don't know. I feel like personally it's because of my work ethic. You know, once I see something that's working, I like to keep doing it to maximize the results and the potential and, you know, just maximize it. Why not? We pushing the pedal to the metal. Why not? Like I was saying, prior to my car accident, I was at Sephora damn near every day. I thank God for the car accident because for one, I had my safety and my health still. No one got hurt in a car accident, but also I feel like God gives us signs. But if we are too deep and too tunnel visioned on what we are trying to do and not really listening or not really putting together what God wants us to do, then he has a way of sitting you down. During that week and a half, I sat and I don't know, something told me like, hey, get on TikTok. And it's crazy because I was always on TikTok just to enjoy the app. Like I wasn't on TikTok like posting my own stuff really, like maybe once in a while, but I was just enjoying the app. This was the good old days when TikTok, you just got on TikTok just to laugh and not everybody has a think piece and fill in the blank. That's a whole nother video. And I posted a TikTok and it did okay. Like it did okay for me. I was like, I'm gonna start posting twice a day because I have nothing else to do. Like I can't go to work. I'm not making any money. I can't really go anywhere because my car is in the shop. So I have to deliver everything or catch lifts and rides places. I'm just gonna sit down and the least I can do to feel a little bit productive is let's just post 2 TikToks a day. One in the morning and one at night. My TikTok actually started to grow a little bit. It was only a week and some change, but no, for real. I still just get on TikTok just to kiki and keep it pushing. And I was getting more engagement on my page. And I was like, okay, I get my car out the shop and it's time to go back to work. And like I always say, I love Sephora. I loved being in Sephora. What made me quit though was once I got back to Sephora, I don't want to say everything had changed, but like people's energy felt like it shifted toward me. So before, I didn't have any issues with people. I didn't have any issues with my managers. I was, you know what I'm saying, cool. Everything is good. When I came back from my break, it just seemed like people were a little bit more argumentative with me. It seemed like people were looking for something wrong. It seemed like almost anything I did started to become a topic of conversation. And whereas before, that wasn't the case. It just felt like, okay, I'm being pushed out. Like that's what it felt like. It felt like I'm being pushed out. Like I'm no longer, I won't say not welcomed, but like not a warm, the welcome isn't warm anymore. Like I'm no longer warmly welcomed here. I feel like that was definitely God letting me know, like, okay, you got into that car accident. You see how much lighter you felt. You see how much rest you got. You see how much around the house you were able to do. Cool. Come back to the job. You see how people really are not, people are kind of switching up and changing the tune with you. I mean, I'm one of the people, I understand. We come to work to work. Everybody is not your friend at work. I'm not going into work looking for new friends. I'm not. We can kiki, we can chat, but we're not, there's still a line here because we're just coworkers, right? And back to what I feel like God was telling me, you see how people that you wouldn't even guess would have an issue with you or have something slightly negative to say about you are now saying things. Like, I think God was just basically trying to show me how the environment does not feel the same anymore. Why would you keep wanting to work around this type of environment where you have to second guess people now? Whereas before you didn't have to and you were good still. And I'm like, you know, just taking it all in. Let's skip to the exit strategy part of it. What I did was, and this is another reason why I like Sephora. They had something set up to where I was able to work that shift and I can instantly get my pay by the end of that shift. So I guess you can call it InstaPay or something like that. They had that set up. So I realized then, like, okay, I'm being pushed out. This job doesn't feel the same anymore. I don't feel the butterflies and the daisies and the things coming into work anymore. So it had to been like February. And I was like, okay, I'm going to quit this job. However, I was like, in this position, I can't necessarily quit in this position. Now I looked at my finances. I was like, I don't have anything saved up for bills. And on top of that, if you know anything about Sephora, and I think, Ulta, don't quote me. Once you become an employee, you get a gratis bag. So gratis is just like a bag full of free things. And because you work at Sephora, you get the bag full of the things that, you know, you pick. Every employee gets on, they take a survey of the new products that's coming out within the next 1 to 3 months. And you pick basically which one you want in your gratis bag. And when it's that time for that product to come out or close to it, you'll get the gratis bag. So I got plenty of things from Sephora. Foundation, skincare, perfume, body care. I built up my stash from working at Sephora because of a gratis bag. And I was an LBA. LBA is a licensed beauty advisor. So it just means you have some sort of certificate, like either you're a cosmetologist or you're an esthetician. I was an esthetician. So the LBA gratis bags, the black gratis bags, they came with a little bit more oomph, right? I was like, dang, I kind of don't want to quit because I'm getting free product. Like I'm getting like the big stuff, the new stuff, not the old last season stuff. This is new season stuff. I have no money saved up and I want to keep my gratis bag. What am I going to do? Ultimately, I said, all right, I can give myself a good 3 more months. And 3 months right now, like right now in the shoes that I'm in, sounds nuts. Sounds crazy. I was like, I want my savings accounts at a certain spot and I want my spending accounts also at a certain spot before I just up and leave. So we got to stack the money, period. I made sure all my accounts were at a certain point. And back to the InstaPay thing, I would get off work. Literally, I would work whatever shift I'm working. Again, I'm back in here like full time. I would work whatever shift I'm working. I would then take money from the shift that I just got off from. I would go to an ATM or like a Kroger or something, a grocery store or something like that, buy like a banana, get cash back. And then I would take the cash that I got, and the next day go to the bank and put it in the whatever account that I needed it to go into. I did that for 3 separate accounts. On top of that, I was getting my gratis bag for the past 3 months. April 15, 2023 was my last day at Sephora. I remember that because at that point, I was like, okay, my savings account is here. At this point, I'm just waiting on the gratis bag. So I put in my 2 weeks at the beginning of April because respectfully, like I said throughout the video, and like anybody will tell you, I still love Sephora. Now, do I plan on ever going back and being an employee? No. Saying all this to say, do not listen to people. People are scared. If you watch these type of videos, you've probably heard this 1,000,001 times already, and I'm gonna tell you for the 1,000,002nd time. Do not listen to people. I didn't have another door opening up. I didn't have another opportunity somewhere else. I didn't have any other thing set up. The only thing that I did have when I realized I didn't want to work there anymore was the job. I had a job, I had a car, and I had bills. So yes, although I did just want to leave in that moment, I'm not living with any family or roommate. So it's just me. So I had to be strategic with my exit plan. If you are working on the exit plan, the only thing I'm going to ask you is to be strategic. Buy yourself some time if you can. If it's one of those situations where your mental health or like your physical well-being is constantly being threatened, you're being disrespected, you gonna have to make that one decision for yourself, my brother or my sister. I'm always gonna tell you to do what's best for you, even if it doesn't seem like that's best in that moment sometimes. But God, the universe, whoever you subscribe to, they respond to the choices you make. So although I was a little bit more strategic in my exit plan, I still don't feel like if I would have up and quit and never went back to the job once I got my car back from the accident, that I wouldn't have been okay. I still feel like something would have worked out along the line. Now, I don't know what, because we don't know the future, but I still feel like things would have worked out because that's just the type of mindset I got. Like, it's going to work out. I don't know how. I could stress myself about the how. After so long of doing that and stressing myself out, it's pointless. It's going to work out, and it's going to work out in a way that I'm not supposed to see right now. And I'm okay with that. Like, it took growth to get to this mindset. I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is. You have to have the mindset of it's going to work out regardless if I know every step or if I don't know every step. If you knew everything, what's the point? What's the point of you respectfully like being here? What's the point of you being here and taking this life journey if you already know everything? You don't know everything. And you're not gonna know everything. There's no way for you to know everything. And even if you did, life would be such a drag if you knew everything. Anyway, so my exit strategy was pretty simple. Saved up enough cash. I got my things before I left because I'm going to get my things. If the things are nice enough, I'm going to get them. Finish my 2 weeks. I actually finished my 2 weeks. That was the start of my, I guess you could say, my eat, pray, love stint that I had. I didn't have a job. And literally for the next 3 years, I didn't have a job and I was still making ends meet and God is still good. I was doing a lot of, like I said, entrepreneurial and freelance work. When I quit my job, a lot more things came into perspective for me. And I lived a lot in those moments. Like I was traveling, I was seeing friends, you know, doing those things. It really gave me some time to live and take a break because prior to that, even prior to me applying for Sephora, I was working my behind off non-stop for years at that point, and I'm not exaggerating. That was the exit strategy that helped me get up out of Sephora. I didn't listen to anyone. Actually, I didn't tell anybody I was leaving Sephora. I just was like, yeah, I already made it up in my mind. This is what we're getting ready to do, and we're gonna make it happen. And that's what happened. I told people like once I put in my 2 weeks, but I didn't say anything to anyone because I didn't want to hear, oh, well, make sure you have another job lined up. You just gonna up and quit. Like, what's next? Like, I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear that. And sometimes you just need to block out the noise. Let me know if you guys want more stories on my career journey because baby, it's been a career. I've done everything. Bartending, notary, sales, copywriting. It's a few more things. I'm kind of drawing a blank right now, but we'll go ahead and wrap the video up here. Let me know down in the comments what jobs you've quit. Did you have an exit strategy, or you just up and gave them folks a peace sign? I like that method too. It just doesn't fit for everybody. It's not gonna work for everybody in everyone's situation. So, and that just wasn't my story necessarily, at least for that job. Anyway, don't be shy. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.